I'll be dismissive. OKC and 6. OKC and 6.
68 wins, the soon-to-be MVP, the best record in the NBA, the best net rating in NBA history. The OKC Thunder just had one of the best regular seasons we have ever seen. But if there is one thing we should know about the Denver Nuggets, you are never going to have an easy playoff series against them. And for the third consecutive series, the Nuggets are in a Game 7. And once again, it was Jamal Murray and it was Nikola Jokic who led the way.
Spinning, baseline, puts it up and in. Count that one and a foul. Murray knifing through the defense.
Wait, did I say Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic led the way? Oh yeah, those guys were great, combining for 54 points, 22 rebounds, and 15 assists. Oh, fantastic. But we cannot mention a single player or a single moment from this game without mentioning Julian Strawther.
Strawther for three. Julian Strawther fires underneath. Strawther puts it in.
15 points off the bench in the final 15 minutes of the game, completely changing the game. And this came at the perfect time, because after Denver had been begging, crying, pleading for anyone to make an impact off the bench, with the bench being the difference between the two teams throughout the series. I mean, Alex Caruso and Cason Wallace having two of the best defenders in the NBA coming off the bench, and both of those guys knocking down shots as well, to go along with Jalen Williams knocking down threes as a 7-footer. The OKC Thunder won 68 games in large part due to having one of the best benches you could ever imagine. And this game, it looked like it was going to be the difference again, with OKC's bench outscoring Denver 20-8 in the first half. That is when Julian Strawther decided he would take over. And it all started with just under 2 minutes left in the third quarter and scores tied at 80 apiece. He gets things started with Jamal Murray throwing him a bounce pass, and no hesitation, no time to think, just the quick trigger three, and it's cash. And that was nice. That was helpful. It was the first three-pointer the Nuggets' entire bench had made in nearly 3 quarters, but Julian wasn't done there, because a minute later, again it's Murray, and this time he penetrates, drawing the defense and the kick out to Strawther, and again, it's the confidence. But it was this shot that really sent the crowd into one of the craziest frenzies I have heard in a while.
Fires underneath, Strawther puts it in!
That clip doesn't do it justice, but at this point, Denver's crowd were on top of the OKC Thunder. It was an avalanche of noise and energy to end the third quarter that tipped the game in Denver's favor. And that avalanche was all because of Julian Strawther scoring 8 points on 3 of 3 shooting in under 2 minutes of play. And this was a game where you got exactly what you were hoping for from Denver's supporting cast. All series long, it had been Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, or bust, which was to be expected to a degree, but with the openness of the shots guys like Christian Braun and Michael Porter Jr. had been getting, you just needed them to knock down a few of them. And both Christian Braun and MPJ had better games than they had in the past, in particular Christian Braun, who delivered a fantastic performance on both ends of the floor. But when you get that kind of performance from Julian Strawther off the bench, well, the Denver Nuggets look like a championship level team, beating out a 68-win team to go to Game 7. And you know why it's so crucial that they just get some kind of shooting from their supporting cast? Because it is the only way for Jokic to get even a slither of space to score for himself. Let me show you what I mean. 58-55 is the score. Jamal Murray is inbounding the ball. At this point in the game, Christian Braun has 12 points, the most for Denver, and has hit 2 threes. So you would at least be somewhat cautious of him, right? Well, there are 2 OKC defenders guarding Jokic on the inbound, and Chet Holmgren helping over, leaving Braun with a practice shot from 3. Off the ball and inbounds pass, you have 3 of the best defenders in the NBA just trying to stop Jokic from touching the ball. This isn't even him with the ball in his hands, it's with him off the ball. And that's how many defenders the Thunder believe they need just to stop Jokic off an inbound pass, leaving Braun wide open. This is the kind of defense the Thunder have been playing on Jokic, not just occasionally, almost every single possession of every game. And unfortunately, the Nuggets haven't been able to capitalize until today. And when you wonder why his assist numbers have been down, because half the time he can't even get the ball to make a play because the Thunder are showing him two bodies off the ball and preventing him from even touching the ball. Or in games like Game 5 where he was dicing up the defense, there just wasn't the shooting to go along with it. This was a game where we actually saw the most normal Jokic game of the playoffs. 29 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists, elite efficiency. I know, that is a normal game for Nikola Jokic. He didn't have to force anything. He played at his pace and did what he does. Obviously, he had a monster performance in Game 5 with the best shot making pretty much ever see from a 7-footer, but this was the kind of game that we have seen from Nikola Jokic in championship years, and the only difference was guys were knocking down their shots. And there is one other reason he got easier buckets in this game than in previous games. And I could cry, because I've been waiting for this to happen all series long. He actually got the ball in the post. He actually got the ball from entry passes, and a special thank you to Aaron Gordon. But just to demonstrate, Jokic sets the screen on Shea, and that's all you have to do. It's not even a great pass. Just get him the ball when he gets that position, and you see him do the rest. Or this time, look at the pass from Brown. David Adelman should show these two clips to everyone on the team, because I promise you, there are 10 times a game where there are opportunities to make those kind of passes that don't get made, and it's just easy buckets. And as I said before, Jamal Murray should be better at this, but I'm not going to criticize him because it was another big game and it was another big performance from Murray. He came out hot and set the tone in the first quarter, knocking down shots. And not just his shot making, but the most impressive part of Murray's performance this game was his ability to get to the rim, his ability to finish, to get to the free throw line. This is something Jamal Murray does not do too often. He doesn't have the best whistle, but he's not someone that gets downhill a ton. This was a game where he took the onus upon himself to be aggressive and to really dominate without the ball in his hands for the majority of the match, which is another reason why I really loved this performance from Jamal Murray. Sometimes he can get too ball dominant, but when he is moving off the ball, when the ball is swinging around and you have Aaron Gordon touching it, Christian Brown touching it, obviously Nikola Jokic touching it, that is when Jamal Murray can be at his best. And when he is utilizing his strengths, which is shooting, putting the ball on the floor, taking 1 to 2 dribbles, and pulling up and knocking down shots. That is the Jamal Murray that helped Denver win this game, and it is the Jamal Murray they will need in Game 7 and going forward if they do advance. Just speaking about Denver in general, outside of the star performances, this was a game where their defense really showed up. Throughout the season and throughout the playoffs, the OKC Thunder have been a dominant team at forcing turnovers and preventing turnover points for the opposition. This was a game where Denver flipped the script. Apart from the last few minutes of the game where Denver decided they didn't know how to handle the ball, prior to that, it was the Nuggets defense that looked better than OKC, which is incredible when you consider what we were watching just a few months ago, where the Nuggets looked like one of the worst defenses in the league, and the Thunder, well, they were the best defense in the NBA. But it was the aggression from Denver's defense that forced turnovers and really shifted the game early on. Just like here, where AG is in the gap waiting to help on Shea, and with him trying to find Caruso, AG slaps it away and finds Brown in transition. This was just one of many points they scored in transition off that aggressive and physical defense, and it's the kind of defense they're going to need in Game 7, which will be a Game 7 for the ages. Now, if you made it all the way to the end of the video and want to see more content like this, consider subscribing, dropping a like on the video would be cool. Most importantly, thank you. Bye.